Do you enjoy NintendoFamCast? If so, do you have a dream of creating a podcast? Maybe about your favorite sports team or favorite video game or favorite brand. You could create a podcast about really anything using Anchor.fm, brought to you by Spotify. Anchor powers my podcast, and it's just really a great way to get your podcast out into the community. I'd like to thank you all for listening, and thank you for your support of the show. Alright guys, so today I thought I'd do something a little bit fun, and I'm talking about a Nintendo Pickleball game. We know that Mario has traveled over all sorts of sports with tennis aces, strikers, sluggers, all sorts of stuff. So I was thinking, why not get a pickleball game? For those of you that don't know, pickleball is the current Fortnite of racket sports. It's growing in popularity. People are all over it. And it's just becoming a really common sport to see. Pickleball courts are starting to be installed at parks, and it's a growing sport. So I feel like it would not be irregular to see a Nintendo game about pickleball. We all know that Nintendo does crazy stuff. Okay, it's an innovative video game company. And I think they could have, if they were to do a pickleball game, it could have lots of potential. And I think this for one main reason. The selling on Tennis Aces, which is a tennis game, is amazing. Like, Nintendo makes tons of money off these games. Doesn't cost too much to manufacture. So I have a little bit of a story developed that I want to share with you after I explain a little bit about what is pickleball. So pickleball is pretty much, it's big ping pong. So it's like life-size ping pong. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, ping pong is just small tennis. Well, it's not. So life-size ping pong, yeah. So it's like, here's what I'm thinking. So in the beginning of the game, we get a cutscene. Video games have cutscenes. They're starting to become more and more popular. Cutscenes are starting to become more and more innovative. I know this PC game that I play, it's like Star Wars Old Republic has custom cutscenes, and they're pretty cool. So in this cutscene, I see it's like it's like tennis aces. They're playing tennis, and somehow a pickleball gets in there. Well, a pickleball hits up against Mario's racket, and he gets sucked into this like portal sort of thing. Okay, and then he turns into a pickle. So he's in like this pickleball world, and he's a pickle in a Mario hat with a mustache. So the thumbnail for this video is going to be Mario and Luigi as pickles. But anyway, so we have their pickles. And you play through maybe a campaign mode, trying to get out of this pickle universe, and then like maybe split screen couch co-op multiplayer mode. And yeah, so I have this idea because I'm currently on vacation, and where I am, there's a bunch of pickleball courts. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I see it, and I ended up buying pickleball rackets and going a couple days. And I'm just like, okay, I see lots of potential in pickleball. It looked like a very fun sport. Really nice sounds make great video game sound effects. Okay, that sounds really stupid, doesn't it? But at the same time, kind of genius. So anyway, so we're seeing this pickleball Mario game with all the Mario characters. Great, probably tournaments. What I'm trying to decide is I guess it could have two options. If you want to use motion controls, like a Wii Sports kind of game, or if you want to use maybe a joystick and buttons, or maybe just light motion controls. So there's some questions there, but otherwise this game seems like, why wouldn't Nintendo do it? So why wouldn't Nintendo? It's confusing. The choices that Nintendo makes. I know Nintendo's in kind of a bad place with fans right now. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I feel like I have not checked on Nintendo news in a while. I'm just gonna. All right. Um. Not much. Oh, good for Nintendo. Oh, good for Nintendo. Oh, wow. All right, Nintendo Switches outsold PS5s. Cool. Mainly because there's a huge PS5 shortage. But cool. So I'm going to wrap this episode up right here. It's kind of a shorter episode. I'm going to be putting out a New Year's special. Otherwise, this week, really no blog post because, as I said, I'm on vacation. Otherwise, yeah, I'll have that New Year's special up on New Year's Eve on YouTube and Spotify and Anchor. So just thank you all for listening. Remember to be looking out for 360 Central Podcast. I did get Breath of the Wild. So I'm going to be doing a Breath of the Wild podcast just talking about that. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, maybe you could play it along with me. I don't know. I'll work out those kinks later. But that should, starting January 1st, 2021, we will be getting the Breath of the Wild podcast. I have Building the Kingdom, my video game, coming out probably sometime late 2021. I'm not sure quite yet, but it's gonna be beginning in development January 2021. So lots coming in the Tomcat Inc. NintendoFamCast umbrella. So don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Spotify, and thank you all for listening.